As we get into more and more what we might consider to be 5D Earth, ridiculous things happen. And then mean-spirited things happen. Now, part of electronic remote hassling people is giving you synthetic dementia. So that, you've heard in Men in Black of the Neura-lizar-ed. The Neura-lizar-ed is the thing in Men in Black that gives you a mind wipe. That is used on people like me. It was used on me just now. Because they had me take the cup away, turn on the coffee machine, and then put the coffee into a non-existent cup. How do they do that? Deflect and dodge. Deflect and dodge is they give me another task to do because they talk to you by telepathy. And your body does what it's told to do. And by some third party telling your body what to do. In that case, my parties were telling all of the different parties that make up Bob to do something, and he did it. It's massive hypnotism. Yes, no, it's not hypnotism, but it's like you being hypnotized. You cannot, how do you override this? I don't know, but I just showed you. Because that's what they just did to me. That's the mean-spiritedness of the Packies that do this. The Packie, P-A-C-I, is how we spell it. From Port Arthur Collegiate Institute in honor of Scott Dougal, director of Google. Because he's our sigil, our symbolic person that represents big tech. And big tech built this monstrosity of a horror of a machine that's been used to remote control, terrorized me, Bobby Burrows, here for 6 years. And before that, it's just that Scott Dougal is actually younger than me, and I've been under remote neural monitoring my whole life, as far as I can tell. Well, I don't know. I guess he's inherited the project from his dad and his grandpa, I guess. Well, because they're the 1% in Thunder Bay, so it must be their technology, In Shelbyville, next door, it's Simpsons, right? Simpsonsville. And Mr. Burns owns like all the big ticket items, the nuclear power plant, Mr. Burns. So Scott Dougal was the son of Mr. Burns in Thunder Bay, the guy that owned multiple businesses. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just want to remind everybody the earbud thing, where you hear a song playing in your head. Earbud, they called it. Well, I don't know. When I was 10 years old, we were getting earbuds. So now, so Scott Dougal would have been like 7 years old. It clearly wasn't him in those day and ages, but I was being hit by that stuff. It wasn't doing torture on me. Well, I was. We just didn't know what was going on. But, I think any time that any kind of thing, remote control diarrhea can happen, probably, yes. Headaches, sicknesses, colds, sniffles, suddenly just feeling sick to your stomach. I don't know, the depth of evil that, multi-generational, somebody else is saying. Yeah, I said we were born into a civilization in the fishbowl. Outside civilization is very advanced. Inside the fishbowl, we were told that, in my great-great-grandfather's generation, they used horse and buggy, like in 1865. I was born in 1965. So let's say 3 generations of people before me brings us to 1865, and we're told in government school that 1865 there was no such thing as the internal combustion engine. Ergo, there were no motor cars. People were riding around on horses, 1865. I don't know. Okay, we're moving gears. Okay, we're talking before I was interrupted. Well, it's just, is this scheduled or not? Is this 4D or 5D? Because when I went to open up this coffee, because this is just one of these things that, that comes inside of that package. Well, when I went to rip it open, I tried first to rip it starting on this edge, and I couldn't rip it. It wouldn't. So, and then I flipped it over to this side, and I tried ripping it, and immediately it ripped to get this thing out. What does it tell you? Well, why would one side of this be stronger than the other side? You wouldn't think it would be. I mean, they make zillions and zillions of these things, so you wouldn't think. And it's not a regular thing. I'll pay attention to see if it's always on this side that you have to rip these things. You wouldn't think so. I don't know, but I don't know. But with remote neural monitoring, they can affect your vision. Yes, they can blur things out. Yes, they can. So, I don't know, like make you have to wear those cheater glasses? Yes, people do. Have you seen the movie on Netflix called Sense8? I haven't watched the movie, but the idea is that other people can live inside of your body. You're regularly used to being Clint Eastwood, and then, I don't know, you go and you use this machine, and then all of a sudden, your Brent Beeson, the devil, is blocking the words. I can't give you the name because he's blocking it. That's the name of one of the terrorists who terrorizes me. It's the name he's used for a long time, Brent Beeson. Beeson, sin, as in sinner, Roman Catholic sin. Brent Beeson, the sinner. So when we find out this terrorist, he's a horrible creature. He's a true reptilian human thing. Just call him a person that's horrifically evil. Hannibal Lecter and quality. Yes, there's no difference. This guy, would he murder you? Yes, he attempts to murder me all the time. It's no joke. And that's what he just showed you, what he did. All that coffee going down. They're so mean-spirited. They're not here in the room. There's nobody here. It's remote neural monitoring. And that one is called, we're going to call that synthetic dementia. They do that all the time. They do it with keys. All the time they do it with keys. They do. They do it with keys. So for people that are constantly losing their keys, like Jason Mallon, my brother-in-law, that is some nasty fat controller that is doing mind wipes on you, Jason, and making you leave your wallet someplace stupid with the doors unlocked so somebody can steal your wallet and things. Because, Jason, you're under remote neural monitoring. Jason Mallon, realtor of Thunder Bay, my brother-in-law. Because, well, I just figured out why you have so many problems with losing things. Is because your fat controller, I have Brent Beeson, that's a person's phony baloney alias that they're using because they're talking to me. I don't know if they talk to you in your head or not, Jason, but given the fact that the history of Jason Mallon is that he tends to lose keys for years and years and years. So it's an ongoing program used to make you forget those things in that moment over and over and over again as a pattern, because the devils that bedevil you are actually doing that long term. Because they talk among themselves. The fat controllers talk among each other. Because they watch each other's feeds and what they're doing to their targeted individuals. If you are a person on planet Earth, you're pretty much one way or another a targeted person on remote neural monitoring. Jason, did you ever have that earbug happen to you where you had radio quality song playing in your head unwanted? Can you remember the first time it happened? Was it as young as 10 years old? Well, do you ever have that itchy nose thing where you're scratching your nose and it's annoying and there's no insects around there, there's no mosquitoes around there to give you an itch? That's remote neural monitoring and torture. And that happens to your dad all the time because your dad scratches his nose a lot. So your dad, Jack Mallon, realtor in Thunder Bay, he is also under remote neural monitoring because many times I see him with that itchy nose problem. Itchy nose problem, it relates directly to the Havana attacks the American embassy in Havana, Cuba. Their employees were attacked by microwave. And that is in mainstream news, so you could use Google and look that one up. I'm not sure if that's the same as Havana syndrome. It might be a title of that you could look as well. But it's called, all that stuff, voice to skull. First used by the American military in the Gulf War under one of those George W. Bush, or it was George H.W. Bush. Saddam Hussein, back in those days, they used voice to skull to the Iraqi soldiers and said, "This is Allah, give up your weapons to the Americans and surrender to the Americans." That is also available if you look in mainstream media with your Google. So anyways, that's how mean-spirited they are. They make me spill coffee while I'm in the middle of trying to explain to you. What this thing, it's just that in 5D, things might have to be done a certain way. In other words, this one in particular, like this next one might want to be opened here and not on that side. These might be individual. Because when I go to the grocery store and I buy items, like I go and I pick the raisins, it's specifically this one that my hand reaches for. This particular one, like sometimes it'll go out of its way to not reach for the closest one on the shelf to go to the furthest one on the shelf. Is it playing a joke on me? Well, it's done it for a long time, and I used to muscle test to see which one is the one supposed to come to me. Is it something to do with that funny animated show, Sausage Party? If you haven't seen Sausage Party, you need to go and learn about breaking the fourth wall and meta. Breaking the fourth wall is something to do with actors on stage talking directly to the audience when they're really not supposed to. Sausage Party. The songs of the day, I don't know. A bunch of being blocked by all kinds of information by evil people who are still part of the neural monitoring and blocking my words. So even when I try very hard to get the words to come out, I don't know. It's a pain in the ass. Anyways, very soon we're going to wish that all of these people who, are doing this horrible, hadn't done it because, I don't know, they're going to deceive you because they're going on crawlers to meet the 65 mile an hour rotating wheel of, a truck. A pickup truck, probably, or, reasonable facsimile or something.